Okay. Hey, everybody. So for tonight's homework, we are working on 5 problems. And these 5 problems, we did one in class except for block 2. We did not do that one. So I'm going to go over that one again. But what I'm going to do is just kind of make some folds so that I will keep this lined up so I don't cross over. Or you can also just put it on a separate sheet of paper. So do you see how I'm just doing that? So I know how big I need to write and keep everything together. Or if you have an extra sheet of notebook paper, that's fine too. So I know I'm going to stay in this column, I'll stay in this column, I'll stay in that column, and I'll stay in the 4th column. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Again, we worked on the first problem in class today for block 1 and 3, so you guys can fast forward it. The other block 2, work on the problem, pause it, and then come back to see if you did this right. You're going to follow whatever strategy is easiest for you. First thing I need to do is to estimate, and then I'm going to show my work and then solve. So I know that 1/4 is less than 1/2. If I were to draw a number line, and this is 0, this is 1/2, 1/4, 2/4, which is the same as 1/2, 3/4, and then 4/4, because that's 1 whole. If I placed it here, it's going to actually be closest to the 0. So this is going to be a 1 plus, and then I'm going to have my thirds. So I'm going to create another number line if I wanted to do it on the same. 1/3, 2/3, so 1/3, 2/3, and right in the middle is 1/2. I know that that is greater, so this is 0 and 1. So it's going to be closest to 1. So this is the same as 2 plus 1. So it's going to be 2, 3, 4. So this is going to be about 4. Remember, I'm making the little squiggly line to show about. All right, so that's our estimation. Now I'm going to go ahead and add it. I'm going to use numerical expressions. So I'm going to get my whole number, and I'm going to add my whole numbers first. So it's 1 plus 2. I'm adding, and then I'm going to add 1/4 plus 2/3. I'm going to add my whole numbers together, and then I'm going to add my fractions together. The next thing that I must do is find a common denominator. So I'm going to circle my denominators, and I'm going to skip count. So here's 4. I'm skip counting 4, 8, 12. Then I'm going to skip count by 3s. 3, 6, that is 12, and I can stop there. So my common denominator is 12. So I'm going to circle my 12s because that's what they have in common. For my 4, I jumped 1, 2, 3. So that means that I'm going to multiply this by 3. If I do it to my denominator, I must do it to the numerator. So my 1/4, the equivalent fraction, 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 4, and I already said it was going to be 12. It's 12. So that's my equivalent fraction. For the 3, I'm jumping 1, 2, 3. So I landed on 12. If you want to, you can put your 12 right there. I got from 3 to 12 by multiplying that by 4. I must do that to my numerator as well. So 2 times 4 equals 8. I'm going to put that back in parentheses. Plus 1 plus 2 equals 3. Now I can add this up. So I have 3 plus 3/12, and you can do it this way where you have 3 plus 8 over 12 if that makes it easier for you. And that is 8, 9, 10, 11. And then the answer is 3 and 11/12. Let me scoot that down so that you can see it. All right, and that is the answer. Now, looking at what I got as the actual answer versus my estimation, my estimated answer is 4. Is that close? Yeah, it really is. 1/12 is what we're going for to get 4 holes. So, yeah, that is a great estimation. Let's look at this next one, number 2. 3/4. I'm going to look at, I'm going to take my number line here that I made. And this is 1, 2, 3/4 here. This is closest to 1 hole. So 3 plus 1. And then 5/12. Well, I know that 6/12 is, if I wanted to do it this way, 0 and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 6/12 is the same as. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12/12 is the same as 1 hole. So now I'm going to put the 5, it's here, so it's less than 1/2, so it'll be 0. So this is 7, 8, so it's going to be about 8. 3 plus, it's kind of hard to say. Let me rewrite that. 3 plus 1 plus 4 is about, it's going to be, I'm estimating, so my estimated is about 8. Now let's go ahead and do this problem. I'm going to put my whole numbers together. I'm going to put my fractions together. Now I've already done this, so can I use it? I see a 12 here, and then there's a 12 here. Very good. My common denominator will be 12. Excellent. 3 plus 4 equals, good job, 7. I went from 4 to 12 by multiplying it by 3. What I do to the denominator, I must duplicate to the numerator. So 3 times 3 is 9 over 12 plus 5 over 12. I'm going to put that in parentheses because I need to add fractions to fractions only. So now this is going to be 7 plus 9 plus 5. Very good. That's 14/12. Improper fraction, right? Exactly. So I said that 12/12 is equal to 1 whole. So I can take out, I need to see how many whole numbers can I pull out of here. So I know I can do 12 out of 12. That's 1 whole. And then 14 minus 12 equals 2, and my denominator still stays the same. Okay, so now I'm left with 7 plus 1 and 2/12. And that's going to give me what? Very good. 7 plus 1 equals 8 and 2/12. But what do you notice? They're both even numbers. Can I divide those by 2? Very good. 2 divided by 2 equals 1 because 2 goes into 2 one time, because 1 times 2 is equal to 2. Half of 12, or 12 divided by 2, equals 6. So then my answer is going to be 8 and 1/6. Is 8 and 2/12 an answer as well? Yes, it is. So you may end up seeing it like this, but I wanted to simplify it into its smallest term. Okay, getting a little easier? Great, I'm glad. If not, well, let's keep practicing. So let's look at number 3. I'm going to add, let's see, 1/3. I'm going to look over here at my thirds. this is my 1/3. It's closest to 0. So I'm just going to have this as 1 plus 1/6 is still, it's right here, so it's closest to 0. So I'm going to put just 1 plus 2. And I say that I'm going to have an estimated answer of 3. Let's go back because I didn't even think we didn't even cover that. 8 and 1/6. Is that about 8? Yes, it is. So we did really good. Now I know that my answer is going to be somewhere around 3. So let's check. I have 1 and 1/3. So I'm going to pull my, what am I going to do first? Very good. Get the whole numbers first. So it's 1 plus 2, or if you wanted to circle those. And I'm going to have 1/3 plus 1/6. Can you see what the common denominator is already? Yeah, if you start at skip counting, you'll know it's 3, 6, ding, ding, ding. There you go. So 1 plus 2 equals 3 plus. So I said it was 3, so 3, 6. I took 2 jumps. So that's times 2, and that makes it 1/3 is equal to 2, 6 plus 1/6. So it's 3 and 2 plus 1 equals 3. If you're wanting to, you can write it out this way. These mean the same thing. Remember, if my denominator is the same, I can write it like this. So this will make it 3 plus 2 plus 1 equals 3. So this will be 3 and 3, 6. Now I need to find out, what are the common factors? Well, factors for 3 is 1 and 3. Factors for 6 is I have 1 and 6, 2 and 3. There we go. That 3 is the common one. So I know that 3 divided by 3 equals 1. So if I do it to the numerator, I have to do it to its denominator. So then the answer is 3 and 1/2. So our answer is around, I think it's a good estimation that it is about 3. Let's look at number 4. Remember, pause me at any time so that you can catch up. Then I want you to do the next one. Do number 4 on your own, and then come back and see if it's correct. Because if you don't practice on what you're remembering, then you can't do recall because you never practiced. So you really have to start exercising that brain to see how much of it you can remember. I'm going to, if you wanted to, see, we did another strategy, right? So if you're wanting to do the strategy where you're going to change this into improper fractions, you may do so, where it's 2 times 4 is 8 plus 1 is 9/2, and that's 15 19/5. But I'm going to keep doing it this way. You can do it any way that you feel is best. So 4 plus 3 and plus 1/2 plus 4/5. Let me scoot that over. Now I needed to estimate. It's 1/2, so I'm going to say about 5, because 4 plus 1 is 5. And then 4/5, well, it's almost, so that is 3. Or if you wanted to keep it at 4, you can. So 3 and 4/5, I'm 1/5 away, so I'm going to put 4. It's going to say about 9. So you can say about 8 if you wanted to, if you kept that 4 plus 3. Or you can do 4 plus 5, that's 5. And then, yeah, so it's, if you wanted to do 4 plus 4, you could do it that way if you're estimating, and it's about 8. Whichever one, it's fine. That's up to you. So now let's go ahead and work out the problem. 4 plus 3 is 7, and I'm going to bring down the rest. 1/2 plus 4/5. If you don't start practicing and saying this out loud, you're going to always struggle with fractions because you're not used to saying it out loud. And so I really want you to say these fractions out loud. Now I need to find a common denominator. So I'm going to skip count. I'm going to bring this up here. My denominators are 2 and 5. So I'm going to start with 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And I'll stop right there. The next one is 5. I'm going to skip count by 5s. 5, 10. Oops, look at that. I have a common denominator. So with my 2, I jumped 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because I jumped 5, I know that it's 2 times 5 and 1 times 5. So my 1/2 is going to be the same as 5/10. And remember, that's what I said that my denominator would be, is right there. Plus, then I have 4/5. I'm going to skip count by 1, 2, which means I'm going to multiply that by 2. And my numerator, nope, multiply that by 2. So this will become 8/10. And now can I add it? Absolutely. So 7 plus 5 plus 8 equals, very good, 13/10. 8, and I need 2 more, 9, 10, with 3 left over, it's 13/10. Can I leave it that way? Nope. So I can take out, I'm going to go ahead and erase that part here. 10 goes into 13 one time with 3 left over, or I know my denominator is a 10. Let's see how many whole numbers I can pull out of here. So I have 10/10 because that's equal to 1 whole, and that leaves me with 13 minus 10 equals 3/10. So then I now have 7 plus 1 and 3/10 equals 8 and 3. Oops, I see what I did. Okay, now I've scooted up. So it's 7 plus the 1 and 3/10. I'm adding my whole numbers. 7 plus 1 equals 8 and 3/10. So I said it was going to be about 9, kind of an overshot. So if you did the 4 by 4, it's about 8. So either way, and that's 3/10. We're still 7/10 away from the next hole. So it was within reason, I think. It's still close enough. All right, remember to pause at any time. After reading this, I want you to pause it, work out the problem, and then come back to see if your answer is correct. So this is where you're going to check yourself. So Yolanda walked 3 6/10 miles. Then she walked 4 1/2 more miles. How many miles did Yolanda walk? Okay, well, let's see. I'm going to add, so I have 3 6/10 plus 4 1/2. If you don't write out your equation to know what you're going to do, it could be really frustrating and confusing. All right, at this time, I want you to pause the video, work out the problem, then see if you got the correct answer. Okay, so let's see how we solved it. I'm going to circle my whole numbers, 3 plus 4, and then I'm going to put my fractions together, 6/10 plus 1/2, put that in parentheses, and then next I need to find the common denominator. So if you're needing to write this out, first step, group whole numbers. Second step, group fractions. Third, add whole numbers. So 3 plus 4 equals 7. And now I have 6/10 plus 1/2. The next thing, find common denominator. So you have to look at the denominators to see if there's a common denominator. And in this case, there is not. So I'm going to skip count. I'm going to put it up here. So it's 10. I'm going to go 10, 20. I'm going to stop right there. Then 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. What's my common denominator? Absolutely, it's 10. So this is going to stay the same. So I have 7 plus parentheses 6/10. I went from 2 to 10 by jumping 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So 2 times 5, and then 1 times 5. So that makes it 5/10. Okay, so this one here, find the common denominators. And then once you find the common denominator, this is rename fractions. So here we renamed it. We went from the 6/10 to 6/10, that stayed the same. We went from 1/2 now to 5/10. And I'm going to add fractions. So 6/10 plus 5/10 equals, very good, 11/10. And I'm going to bring down my 7. And here, if the numerator is greater than the denominator, rename to a mixed number. Okay, so can I take a 10/10 out of 11/10? Yes, I can. So I'm going to have 10/10 because that's one whole. So this is going to be 1, and then 11 minus 10 is 1/10. So now I have 7 plus 1 and 1/10 equals, and what's 7 plus 1 is 8, and then I have 1/10. So then my answer is C, 8 and 1/10. So I kind of wrote out the step by step to what to do. So please write that down, put it in a place that's going to be safe so that you can memorize that and you'll have that information. Tomorrow we will start on multiplying fractions, and we'll have to kind of expedite that. You're going to have your unit test next Tuesday, hopefully by next Tuesday. Don't forget, tomorrow's the field trip, so wear your spirit shirt. Talk to y'all later. Bye.